Welcome to Learner's Planet, my dear children. Children, in the previous session, we discussed about the various common organ systems of our body, and we discussed somewhat about the organs of our skeletal system. Right? In this session, we are going to continue with the same skeletal system. We will discuss more about skeletal system, like functions of skeletal system, right? So let us start with this session. Yes, the functions of skeletal system. As you know, children, from our head to our toes, bones provide support for our bodies, and it helps to form our shape, the shape of our body. Right? The skull protects the brain and it forms the shape of our face. The spinal cord, which is a pathway for the messages between the brain and the body, is protected by the backbone or the spine. Right? So we can just imagine that how important is our skeletal system. It helps us in so many ways. Right? The skeletal system is what keeps our body in shape, protects our vital, that is the important organs such as the heart, brain and lungs, and also enables us to move. Right? As you can see here in this picture, even the ribs form the rib cage and they are attached to the backbone. Right? So these all things are very much important. This system is very much important because it protects our important organs. Right? What are the other various functions which a skeletal system performs? Right. In our body, the skeleton works very closely with the muscular system to help us move. As you know that we need our skeletal system for many reasons, one of which is to survive. Right? Our skeletal system keeps our body in shape. Our skeletal system provides protection and support to our body, and it works very closely with the muscular system. Means without the bones of our skeleton, we would be a blob of water-filled tissues. The bones create a framework to which our muscles and organs can connect. And our skeleton also plays a role in protection, especially in our head. Right? So you can just imagine that the bones of our skull protects our very important organ, that is the brain. Right? So it protects our soft internal organs also. The skull protects our brain also. The rib cage protects the heart and the lungs. The backbone protects the delicate spinal cord. Right? The muscles connect to our skeleton and they contract and move the skeleton along with it. Right? Even the animals with exoskeletons receive protection from their skeleton. Right? More than half the total number of bones are found in our hands and feet, and you know that how much we use our hands and feet. Right? So you can just imagine that how a skeletal system performs so many functions together. Even our skeletal system does not work alone. It interacts with other systems like the muscular system. Muscles connects to our skeleton and they contract. Right? Our skeletal system is made up of cartilage and the bones. Let us discuss more about this. Yes, our skeletal system is made up of cartilage and calcified bone that works together. It helps in the process of the movement. Right? And the calcified bones, which we discussed here, they are the bones of our skeleton which also works with the circulatory system. How does this work? Yes, the bone marrow produces blood cells. As you know, children, you will be very amazed to know, children, that bones contain marrow, right, where our blood cells are made. Right? And that is why we term it as the bone marrow. Bone marrow produces blood cells. Right? So it is also important from this point of view. You can see here in this picture, this is a picture of a bone, and this is the red color marrow present in it. So this, because of this bone marrow, it is able to produce the blood cells in our body, right? And it is very important for us, right? So our skeletal system is made up of all the bones in the body and the tissues such as cartilage, ligaments that connect them. Even our teeth is also considered as a part of our skeletal system, but they are not counted as the bones, right? Do you remember, children, that our teeth are made up of enamel and dentine, right? The protective layer, the very hard cover, very hard layer. Enamel is the strongest substance in our body which helps our teeth, which protects our teeth. Yes, right? So these are some of the very important functions of our skeletal system. And the main function of our skeletal system is the protection and support, right? Children, we discussed about the skeletal system and the bones, right? But you know that in addition to bones, cartilage and muscles also help us in movement, right? So let us study about those organs. Yes, cartilage. First of all, we should know that what is meant by a cartilage. Cartilage is a tough, elastic substance. As you can see here, this is one such picture. Can you imagine that what kind of picture it is? Can you think of? Yes, this is a picture of a nose, right? Of our face, right? So this is our nose, and this is made up of cartilage. One such place, this place of our nose is made up of a cartilage. So what is actually a cartilage? It is a tough, elastic substance. And what is the function of this cartilage? Yes, it holds the bones in the place where they join. Even the cartilage also protects the bones. They are not considered as bones, but they are protecting our bones. Without cartilage, you can just think that the bones would rub against each other and they wear out. So without cartilage, it is not possible for the bones, even for the bones, to create a very good framework of our body. So cartilage is also very important because it protects the bones. There are some organs such as nose and ears. We saw the picture of the nose, right? So such organs like nose and ears have cartilage. So you can just imagine that without cartilage, there would be no organization of such organs like our nose and ears. And that is why cartilage are very important, right? So besides cartilage and bones, there are muscles which also help us in movement. So let us study about muscles. Yes, muscles are all made of the same material. That is a type of elastic tissue. You can see here in this picture. This is a type of an elastic tissue, and these are the muscles. And all muscles appear as same, right? Because they are made up of same material. Do you know, children, that we have more than 600 muscles in our body? They do everything from pumping our blood throughout our body to helping to lift our heavy back, right? Even it controls some of our muscles while others control our heart, right? So these muscles are very much helpful to us. Yes, thousands or even tens of thousands of small fibers make up each muscle. This is the small fibers which make up each muscle, as we saw in the picture, the red color fibers, right? These fibers make up each muscle, and because of this, these muscles hold the bones together and make movement possible. As we discussed in the functions of the skeletal system, that our skeletal system interacts with the muscular system, right? So now you can just imagine that muscles hold the bones together. That means the bones are the part of our skeletal system, not the muscular system, right? So bones and muscles both together make the movement possible, and that is why skeletal muscle interacts with the muscular system, right? Skeletal system interacts with the muscular system, and they also help in the important processes such as the digestion, right? So you can just imagine that such a type of elastic tissue is important to us in so many ways, and because of these they are divided into 3 parts. Let us see. Yes, there are 3 types of muscles in our body. First is the skeletal muscles, second smooth muscles, and third cardiac muscles. Let us study about each of these muscles in detail. Yes, first of all we will have an overview of these 3 types of muscles. Here you can see the picture, right? It is showing the heart. Heart is actually made up of a muscle called as cardiac muscle. Then these muscles which are present in our hands, right, they are made up of a muscle called as skeletal muscles. And the this is the organ. Which organ is this? It is the stomach, right? So this is made up of a muscle known as the smooth muscle, right? So all these muscles, all these 3 types of muscles are present in our body. Let us start with the skeletal muscles. Yes, skeletal muscles are the voluntary muscles. What do you mean by voluntary muscles, children? Means the actions can be controlled by us, right? So whatever action our body will be performing, it will be in our control, right? So we consider skeletal muscles as the voluntary muscles. Means we can control these type of muscles. We can control the skeletal muscles, right? Like we will take one example. There is one very interesting example. Let us discuss about it. Yes, our leg. Our leg won't bend to kick the football unless we want it to do, right? So the skeletal muscles work together with our bones to give our body power and strength. And some of our biggest and most powerful muscles are present in our back and near our spine, right? That is the backbone. And because of forming the powerful muscles in our back and near our spine, these muscles act as a protective layer or protection. These provide protection, and they help keep us in the upright position always. And that is why we are able to stand straight and sit straight and walk straight, right? Because of these only we are able to do such kind of movements, right? I hope you are clear with this. The second type of muscles are the smooth muscles, right? Smooth muscles sometimes are also called as the involuntary muscles, and they are usually present in sheets or layers, one beneath the other, right? We cannot control this type of muscle because these are the involuntary muscles. As we discussed, as voluntary muscles are those muscles whose actions can be controlled by us, but involuntary muscles are those muscles whose actions cannot be controlled by us, right? So we cannot control this type of muscle. But smooth muscles are at work all over our body. Now you must be thinking that if it is not in our control, then what kind of function it would be performing by itself? But yes, this is a magic. This is the gratefulness of these muscles. Smooth muscles do not rest. They work all over our body even without our control, right? As in case they are present in our stomach and digestive system, they contract, that means they tighten up and they relax to allow the food to make its journey possible through the body. So you can just see in the picture, this is a picture of smooth muscles, right? So always remember that our brain and body tell these muscles what to do without even thinking about it, right? We cannot use our smooth muscles to make ourselves jump into the air or make ourselves exercise because of these smooth muscles. No, this is not possible, right? And that is why they are present in such organs like stomach and digestive system, because they itself contract and relax to allow the food to pass from the mouth to the stomach. And our smooth muscles come in handy when if we are sick and we need to throw up, right? Even the muscles, these muscles push the food back out of the stomach, so it comes through the mouth or the esophagus, right? Smooth muscles are also found in the urinary bladder. Try to recall the urinary bladder which we discussed in the previous session, in the excretory system, right? So whenever these smooth muscles are relaxed in the urinary bladder, they allow us to hold the urine until we get it to the bathroom, right? Or until our urinary bladder is totally filled up, right? These smooth muscles are very much helpful at this time. Then at the time of urinating, it will contract and it will push the urine out of our body. So these muscles are very much helpful. They are also helpful for the women who are pregnant. They are helpful when a baby develops in them. They are helpful to push the baby out of the mother's body when it is time to be born, right? And even the smooth muscles are at work behind the scenes in our eyes. These muscles are very much helpful, right? Let us move on to another types of muscles which are very much helpful and which are present in our body. Yes, cardiac muscles. Yes, students, the muscle that makes up the heart is called cardiac muscle, and it is also known as the myocardium, right? So myo means muscle and cardium means it makes up the heart. That is why it is termed as the myocardium, means the muscle that makes up the heart. The thick muscles of the heart contracts to pump the blood out and then relax to let the blood back in after it has circulated throughout the body. So we can just say that this is also a type of muscle which is involuntary, means we do not have to order our heart to pump or not. It will pump on its own, right? This is one such picture of a cardiac muscle. These muscles function automatically, means just like smooth muscle, cardiac muscle also works all by itself. So just remember, out of these three muscles, skeletal muscle is the only one which is voluntary, and rest smooth and cardiac muscle are involuntary, means their actions are not controlled by us. There are other muscles also which are present in our body, like face muscles, etc., leg muscles, arm muscles, right? So children, I hope you enjoyed this session about studying of different kinds of muscles, right? And also we studied about the functions of skeletal system. So I hope you are clear with the skeletal system, right? We will discuss more about the skeletal system in other session, in the next session. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying. Thank you, children.